Palestine, for over 75 years, this land has symbolized resistance, occupation, and tragedy. Whenever Gaza is bombed or when Palestinians cry for help, one question echoes around the world: why are Muslim countries not united? With nearly 2 billion Muslims and more than 50 Muslim majority states, why does Palestine stand alone? To answer this, we must look at history, geopolitics, economics, rivalries, and global powers, and we must revisit the turning points, moments when Jews and Muslims clashed, when trust was broken, and when unity could have been built but instead collapsed. 1. Historical background and key incidents. Muslim-Jewish relations go back centuries. In early Islamic history, Jews and Muslims lived together in Medina, but conflicts soon arose, like the Battle of Khaybar in 628, when Muslims fought a coalition of Jewish tribes allied with hostile forces. This event is still remembered in modern political rhetoric. Fast forward to the 20th century, the real turning point came with the Balfour Declaration of 1917, when Britain promised a homeland for Jews in Palestine, ignoring the Arab population already living there. This set the stage for decades of conflict. In 1948, the Nakba or catastrophe occurred, when more than 700,000 Palestinians were expelled or fled from their homes during the creation of Israel. For Muslims, this was not just a war, but the erasure of an entire people from their land. For Jews, it was seen as the fulfillment of a historic promise after centuries of persecution. The 1967 Six-Day War became another defining moment. Israel captured East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza. For Muslims, the loss of Jerusalem, home to Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam, was a wound that has never healed. These incidents solidified Palestine not just as a political issue, but as a matter of faith and identity for Muslims worldwide. 2. Geopolitical interests. Despite this shared anger, Muslim states acted differently. The Gulf states, dependent on US protection, have treated Israel as a potential ally against Iran. That's why the UAE and Bahrain signed the Abraham Accords in 2020, normalizing ties with Israel. Turkey uses Palestine as a symbol of leadership, but continues strong trade with Israel. Iran loudly supports Palestinian resistance, but many see it as a tool to extend its influence. In reality, each state asks, how does the Palestinian issue benefit or harm us? And the answers divide the Muslim world. 3. Economic dependencies. Economics makes unity even harder. Egypt relies on US aid worth billions. Pakistan survives on IMF loans. Gulf states invest heavily in Western markets. If they take real action like cutting oil supplies or banning trade, they risk economic collapse or punishment. So most leaders stick to statements instead of sanctions. The price of Palestine is too high for fragile economies. For internal rivalries, the Muslim world is full of rivalries. Saudi Arabia versus Iran over Islamic leadership. Turkey versus Egypt over political influence. Qatar versus Gulf states in regional competition. These rivalries affect Palestine. If Iran arms Hamas, Saudi Arabia steps back. If Turkey hosts Palestinian leaders, Egypt resists. Each country wants to be seen as the true defender of Palestine, but not under another rival's shadow. So instead of unity, Palestine becomes a stage for political rivalry. 5. Global powers and double standards. Global powers shape these divisions. The US has vetoed over 40 UN resolutions critical of Israel. Europe champions human rights but refuses to pressure Israel the way it pressured Russia over Ukraine. Muslim leaders see this imbalance and conclude, if the world won't hold Israel accountable, why should we risk everything? That logic keeps action limited to words, not deeds. 6. People versus leaders. The difference between Muslim governments and Muslim people is striking. From Pakistan to Turkey, Indonesia to Morocco, ordinary people protest, donate, and raise their voices for Palestine. But their governments act cautiously, caught between public anger and international pressure. This gap keeps Palestine a cause of the people but not a united policy of their states. So why are Muslim countries divided on Palestine? Because history shaped mistrust, geopolitics created different priorities, economics tied hands, rivalries deepened cracks, and global powers ensured paralysis. From Khaybar to Nakba, from Six-Day War to the Abraham Accords, incidents between Jews and Muslims have shaped not just a conflict, but an identity crisis. Palestine is more than land, it is a test of unity. The tragedy is this: while leaders calculate interests, Palestinians suffer. The question remains, will Muslim unity ever turn from a slogan into reality? Tell us in the comments, do you think Muslim unity is possible, or will Palestine always be left to struggle alone? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more global perspectives. This is Global Worldview.